Western church. I'm enjoying it, but it seems weird. Yeah. I don't think so. There's some. That's nice. Those are habaneros. Yeah, which I've never seen habaneros in that way before. I love it.
The lighting the fire.
Yeah, yeah. Sean, this is Christine.
Yeah, hi. Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I tell Sean how much I just got to the market.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, except for years.
Somehow I'm missing CDs too, so
No. I was like, I didn't, I knew I
my
was
CD player in the car's not working, so I think it's stuck in there.
Oh.
There's a message in there somewhere. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, this is alright. I mean, I practice. I've had.
Yeah, I just can't get a CD in around. I can't find CD6, so I'm thinking that's. So,
So at some point I'm going to have to start calling this practices. Figure out how to help them do some of that stuff. So it's very difficult to provide some I'm not sure. Yeah. But it's forehead or an area of shoulder.
Okay, welcome back. I just want to make a quick announcement so I don't forget at the end of the night, but this Thursday, instead of it being a practice night, it's kind of a social event. You've probably seen the meetup announcement already. I just mentioned that because as we go along, we start to be curious about what's happening with each other, or maybe we're starting to meet people or see a familiar face. And the community aspect on the path, if you decide to make this your path, or maybe it already is for you, the community aspect is quite important. Just to know that we have our individual journey, but at the same time we face many of the same challenges and struggles and have the same questions that other people have. And so we don't feel like a total oddball when we try and do this meditation stuff. And everybody has their own wisdom too. Everybody has something to offer. Even though I'm sitting here as the meditation instructor, I certainly don't have all the answers, and I don't have the full breadth of human experience. That's something that we have together as a group. So just a reminder that it's happening if you have the time and the inclination. Yeah. So tonight we're going to do a practice called the cellular breathing, which some of you are already familiar with. But to introduce it, we're just going to quickly recap the last 2 weeks that we've done. So the first week was the 10 points practice. And one of the important aspects of that practice is learning about the relationship between tension and awareness. The tension is a way that we might block our awareness in the body, but by bringing awareness to that tension, it resolves naturally. And it was a starting point of seeing how we could actually release stale energy down into the earth and bring back that natural circulation between us and the earth. We didn't talk about it very much, but that is something that's happening there. Then with the threefold breath, which we did last week, we started to look at the experience in the body, that when we pay attention to it, it's not this solid thing of bone and muscles and phlegm and blood and what we see in a biology book. Our actual experience is quite different. It might seem quite empty and open in some moments, and it might seem filled with various energies and emotions in the next moment. So we're starting to discover that our actual experience when we're paying attention to our life is not only what we think it is. And then the point of tonight's practice, the cellular breathing, is learning about the relationship between breath and energy, or breath and prana, the physical breath and energy that exists all around us, that flows through our body. And also our attention. So these three things work together. Energy, how we direct our physical breathing with our intention, and then our awareness. It's like a three-way magnet. For instance, if you really start paying attention to your finger and imagine that you're breathing in, that you're breathing into the finger, and not only are you breathing into it, but you're breathing in through the surface of the skin around the finger, and that the breath, your physical breath is going into it, but also the prana, the environmental energy and the energy in your body is going into it with the breath. So it's all being focused in that region. And just after a few moments of breathing that way and bringing our attention there, the finger starts to feel very different than it did a few moments ago. It starts to feel quite alive and vivid. And this is just a finger, but there are parts of our body that hold entire histories, entire events, entire memories, entire meaning. Maybe experiences that we tried to go through in other parts of our life, but we didn't really live them through completely. Maybe they were too challenging, it was too much, too overwhelming. And those experiences don't just go away. They're waiting for us to really live them through, to feel them completely. And so by breathing fresh energy into our body, what we're doing is helping our awareness come into our body deeper than before. We're also helping bring in energy that might have a healing capacity, and that it might unlock some of these events from our life that are trapped or held in the cells of our body. This all might sound like metaphysical, wishy-washy stuff, but I assure you from my experience it really works. And so we'll see from our each individual experience what happens with you when you bring your attention and you breathe in a particular way into each part of your body. What's waiting for you inside? What's waiting to be felt? And of course, if tonight is your first time doing this practice, just know that it takes practice to go further and further with this method and see what's happening. There are things that have arisen in me in the last year that I know were events from many years ago, and it's taken many years of practice, and only now are these hidden parts of myself making themselves known to my own awareness. So unfortunately, this is not the realm of instant results or instant healing or anything like that. Patience is one of the most important lessons we learn with this path of meditation. Anytime we try and force a result with our practice, we're probably doing 2 steps back instead of 1 step forward. So to do this practice, we start by laying down as usual, but we're not going to tie our legs tonight. We're just going to lay down. You can put a cushion under your knees if that's more comfortable for your back. But we're just going to lay down on our back, so take a few moments to do that, and then I'll continue with the instruction. Or if you need to lay on your side, that's fine too. So I always like to start with the reminder of the basic steps we take every time we lay down. So first, notice the parts of your body that might be resistant to laying down, to being against the ground. Just notice them and see if you can invite them to uncurl or soften, like the back of your neck or the lower back. Seeing if you're holding your thighs in a certain way and letting them rotate in a natural manner when you let go of control. Checking the jaw, making sure we're not clenching. And as we open or soften the jaw, we can check for the shoulders, letting them soften as well. We might make sure that we're breathing with our diaphragm, so that means that as we're inhaling in a natural way, our abdomen is moving, it's expanding to receive the breath and to make room for the diaphragm to descend on the inhale. So nice full breaths. And then the last major piece that we check is the pelvic floor. Checking for any unconscious or subconscious holding or clenching. Noticing that, we can soften those muscles and see how that also opens up the area of the buttocks and the hamstrings. We might notice that we're still controlling our legs, and then we can give up that control a little bit more. Taking a few moments to note your energetic quality and your emotional quality. How do you feel? What kind of mood are you in? How's your heart this evening? And how's your thinking mind? And again, anytime we look, we're not judging, we're just witnessing. Are you able to be present right away, or will that come later? Is your mind fast or slow? Does some part of you know what's going to happen? Are you looking forward to it, or is there some pushback against the slowness? We do this check-in so that we show up completely for this practice. It doesn't quite work if we compartmentalize and say, I'm going to do this practice, but some part of me is not going to be here. I'm not going to deal with some aspect that I don't want to look at right now. Those are the parts that need this the most. So like the tenfold breath, or the 10 points practice, we're going to start with the big toe on both feet. And the instruction here is, as you're breathing in, imagine or feel that the skin around the big toe is inhaling, that it's breathing in also. You can even imagine that energy, or even just oxygen, is entering through the cells and feeding the toe. So your awareness is directed toward the toe. Your breath follows that awareness. And then the subtle energy goes there too. On the exhale, just take a soft attitude while you're still present to the toe, as if you're experiencing the toe absorbing the energy that has been inhaled. And in the beginning you might think, I'm just using my imagination. This is all just a thought. But see after a while if you actually experience something on the inhale. And if the toe starts to express itself over time, if you start to feel something within. So on the inhale, breathing in through the pores of the skin around the toe, exhaling, just receiving that subtle breath, softening the toe. Going back and forth at a natural pace. So let's do this for a little while. Just like before, we'll include the next body part, so we're not leaving anything behind. And we'll breathe now into the index toe, the next toe. And as you breathe in the first few breaths, you can try and find the boundaries of the toe. And if you can't find it, just breathe into that unknown space. And then we include the middle toe. And then the fourth toe. And then the pinky toe. So we're breathing into all 10 toes. And thoughts can come and go in the background, but if you get completely taken away by thinking about other things, just take the next in-breath and come back. Ride the in-breath into the body part. And so just notice how your toes feel compared to the rest of the foot. Is there a difference? Now that you've been present to them and breathing into them. Can you notice if the front part of the foot is trying to receive what the toes are receiving? It sometimes starts doing the practice on its own. So let's start to breathe into the forefoot now, including the toes. And initially our attention is at the skin level, breathing into the skin, but as you go along, try and breathe that energy through the skin, through the tissue, into the bones, so that everything is receiving the breath and receiving your awareness with it. And then we'll include the rest of the foot, moving all the way back to the heel. So now we're breathing into everything below the ankles. And now we can breathe into the ankles as well. And then we can start to breathe our way up the lower leg to the knees. So breathing into the bones, into the muscles, into the skin. Exhaling, feeling what they actually feel like. All it takes is a little curiosity, a little patience. And the lower legs are not only receiving the prana from around the skin around them, but also the prana that's entering through the bottoms of the feet. That's coming up through the ankles, through the center of the lower leg. And breathing into the kneecaps and behind the knees and all the way into the center of the knees. And now we keep moving up to the upper thighs. Just starting on the surface. This is a big area, so we do it piece by piece, starting on the surface, the skin wrapped all around. And with every breath, going deeper and deeper through the tissue, gradually breathing all the way into the bone. And then we come to the genitals. When we work with certain body parts, there might be an initial surface layer of thoughts that erupt. Just a lot of thinking or commentary or anything. And we can just notice that, then breathe right on through it. You can breathe through that layer of thoughts. So it's really not an obstacle at all. Just breathe through it. Breathing our way into the actual felt experience. And then the perineum. And then including the anal region. And then bring our awareness up, we come into the pelvic bowl. So this is where the internal reproductive organs may be, or the lower intestine, and part of the colon. But we let go of those thoughts. I'm just trying to help you find these areas. Everything in the lower belly. And the buttocks as well. And we're also breathing in through the top of the abdomen. So breathing in from all around, drawing in from beneath and the sides and on top. And now including the lower back and the mid back and then the upper abdomen and the sides, breathing all the way into the core of the lower torso. As we move along the body, different experiences might arise, and in this practice, our response is the same, to just notice them openly and breathe into them. So if some old aches and pains come up, and they might even become more noticeable, we just breathe into them, give them more energy to unfold, to be witnessed, to be felt. So our response is always to look closer, to be more open toward those things which we might normally turn against or ignore. So now we come above the stomach region into where the diaphragm muscle is and the solar plexus, around the edges of the rib cage, the midsection. And then we can move up to the upper torso. And you might start section by section, maybe with the back and the shoulder blades. And then in the front, the chest and breasts. And then after those, moving into the heart region. But as you move towards the heart, remember to be gentle, don't force anything. We're just lending a kind, patient ear to our body. We're just listening as we breathe into it. And so let's come to the palms of our hands now and the fingers. This is an interesting one because our hands are already so sensitive. So imagine breathing into the palms, that the palms are drawing in prana and breath. Breathing into the fingers and the thumbs, drawing the breath into all the joints. Anyone with arthritis like myself might appreciate this practice right now. Breathing into the soreness, into the sharp, achy pains that might be there. And then we can breathe into the wrists and the forearms. And just like we did with the legs, we breathe through the skin around the arms. But on the inhale, we're also drawing up the prana from the palms of our hands and sending it through the center of the forearm. Breathing into the elbows as well, and gradually into the upper arms, all the way into the shoulders, attached to the torso. And not forgetting the underarms, so breathing in through there. And then we can breathe into the neck and the throat. And this one is interesting because we not only imagine that we're breathing in from the outside through the skin, but as the wind passes through the pipes, through the pipe in the middle of the throat, we're receiving prana from within. If you can actually notice and feel the physical breath moving through from the mouth down into the torso through the neck. In this practice, I can have quite a refreshing feeling in the throat as the prana spreads through the throat. And now let's include the face. In this one, when you breathe in, it's as if the breath is coming and landing on your face, almost like sunshine. You can feel the warmth of the sun rays coming onto your face. So we feel the breath coming in through the pores of the skin, making contact with your forehead, your eyelids and the nose, your cheeks. Feeling the lips and the tongue and the jaw receiving the prana. And as you exhale, you can let all the little muscles soften and let go of any held expression. Again, allowing the face of a corpse to arise. Letting go with every exhale. And soaking up the fresh energy. And then bring our attention now to the skull and the scalp and the ears. We can feel the prana coming in from beneath our head where it's resting on the ground. And coming in through all the skin and all the bone. Gradually breathing all the way into the center of the skull, into the brain. See if you can really feel the experience of your breath and your attention in the center of your skull. How does it actually feel? And so now take a few breaths throughout your entire body, from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, breathing in through the palms of your hands and letting your arms and shoulders receive that energy. And notice if your body might feel a little tingling sensation or some wave-like experience. There might be a smooth, velvety feel. Or it could feel like anything else. Just notice. There might be areas that call for a little extra attention, like areas of surgery or illness or wounds. So take a few moments to breathe into those areas a little bit more. And then just let go of the technique and just feel your body, be present to your body without doing anything. Just feel it as it is in this moment. And notice how your awareness is naturally expanded throughout. It's effortless and relaxed. And so you can stay like this now if you want, but we'll take several minutes for a bathroom break or to get a drink of water. And then when everyone is back in sitting position, we'll continue at that point. Before we continue, did anyone have any questions about the technique itself? It's pretty direct, right? Okay. Oh, you do? Okay.
You said that as we continue, we keep all the body parts in mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you got to the arm, you said just think about the hands. Does it mean, is it only the hands at that point, or is it still everything?
Oh, it's still everything. I just wanted to draw a little extra attention to the palms as a way of getting the arms started. So we did start here and then breathe into the forearms and the upper arms and breathe. But we were still continuing everything else. And in the beginning, it is tough to include everything as we move along. We sort of drop off our legs when we move into the lower belly in the beginning. So, but after a while, we'll naturally be able to keep our awareness throughout the body as we move along. So it just takes practice. I just find that noting the hands for people is it's a good access point because they're so sensitive naturally, you know. Yeah. Okay, so the way we apply the cellular breathing in the sitting posture, so just check that your torso is balanced over your hips. You're not gripping your thighs to hold you up or anything like that. And the head is balanced over the shoulders, again, so we're not drooping and straining the back of the neck or the muscles between the shoulder blades. And at this point, we can just let our awareness pervade the whole body. And on the inhale, keep some of the attention at the skin level initially, just like we did with the big toe, but now we're doing it for the whole body. On the in-breath, we can feel our skin receiving prana, receiving breath. And it's fine to use your imagination. After a while, you may feel something there. It doesn't require you imagining it. And then gradually, over several breaths, we draw our attention further and further inward through the skin, through the tissues, so that we're really feeling our entire body, the height of it, the width, the depth, breathing through and through, letting our breath and our awareness flow through every part of our being. And so various sensations may arise, various feelings, various emotions, and we can just include them in our breath. We breathe into those as well. So we're not just breathing into the physical aspect of our existence. We're breathing our awareness and the prana into everything that arises. It's like our awareness is light, and we're bringing light into the previously dark areas of our life, shining new light. After a while, you may not even need to focus so much on applying the technique, but we just sit and remain present to our body, not worried too much about what happens on the inhale or the exhale. But we just allow the sense of presence and awareness continue to alight within our body. So we're just letting things come up from the surface, from the depths into the surface of our awareness. Just listening quietly. At any point, if you become tired or find this difficult, it means that you've started to exert effort or try and affect some sort of result, and we just let that go. You can even breathe into that sense of tiredness or that sense of ambition. Just look at it, breathe into it, and relax. The more we do this effortlessly and in relaxed fashion, the brighter our awareness can shine, actually. Too much effort actually dims our awareness. So we'll just be like this for the rest of the evening. And just for a couple of minutes, let go of the technique completely. And just turn your attention inward toward your own mind, toward that which is perceiving this experience. It's not really a thing you can find, but it has qualities. Is it clear? Does it seem still? Is it accessible? Just rest within the nature of your mind. After bringing in so much prana in this breath work, it's like cleaning a mirror. So the mirror is crisp and clear and bright. This is our mind. This is what happens when the prana is clean and fresh. Now, our ultimate mind is always completely pure, but I'm talking about how we perceive ourselves. If our energy is dull or stale, the way we perceive our mind becomes also dark and dull. We might get drowsy or taken over by strong emotions. But see right now how it's not like that. It could be fresh and pristine. Again, there's nothing to see, but when you look, what is that experience like? We're able to look without using thoughts. So any other comments or questions about tonight's practice? That's a terrible time to talk, isn't it? So if I could just suggest, it's not really homework, but look this week. If you can practice this a few times during the week, that'd be great. And then also look at what else in your life has an effect on the prana in your body. Because this energy that we carry in us and that's around us, it's not just breath. It's what we put in our body via food or sound or imagery. All of it has an effect on the subtle energy in our body and thus an effect on our quality of awareness when we practice and when we're just doing daily life. And something that might have a negative effect on someone's awareness might not do anything for another person. So it's individual. So just take a look. I like to use the example of my own habits. Sometimes, if I'm distracted late at night and I go for something super sugary for that quick pleasure shot, the first thing that gets shot down is my own awareness and I'm just this jittery mess, But that's for me. that might not be the case in your life, but it's interesting to look at, because if we develop ourselves in a long-term way as practitioners of energy and mindfulness, we have to include everything that we do in our life. Everything has to be looked at. What supports us and what takes us away from ourselves. It's just a practical matter in the end. So something to look at. Okay. Good night.